In this video, we're going to take a look at what Gravity Forms can do for you. So first what I'm going to do is go to my plugins and I'll deactivate Contact Form 7. And you could leave it running. You could actually have both Contact Form 7 and Gravity Forms running at the same time. That's not going to affect anything. But since if I were going to be using Gravity Forms, I would have no need for Contact Form 7. So I'm just going to do some housekeeping and delete that. Now what I'm going to do is jump over to Gravity Forms, and I already have an account and I've already logged in, and when you log in you can see what your licenses are, and I've got a business license here with a license number, and I can also go to downloads to see exactly what I have to download. So they've got some different beta releases, we've got the main Gravity Forms, and then there's some also basic add-ons that are available as well. So right now all I'm going to do is get the download for the main Gravity Forms plugin. I'm going to come back to my licenses tab, and I'm going to double click and copy that license to my clipboard. And then we're going to jump back over into our plugins area, and I'll click on add new. And this time, instead of searching for my plugin like we did with Contact Form 7, I'm going to click upload plugin, and I can either choose the file, or I know it's down here in my download stack. I'm just going to drag and drop and pop it right on top of that. We'll click install now. And then it installed successfully, so let's go ahead and activate that plugin. And there you go. That's pretty much it. Now, again, it's going to say register your copy of Gravity Forms to receive access to automatic upgrades and support. So this is where if you were to have the download files first and you don't have the register the license key yet, you'll get that message. So you can click purchase one now, or we can go into settings for Gravity Forms and we can just paste that license key right in here directly. I'll hit next. We will keep the background updates enabled. That's fine. I'll click next. And I'm not going to use any currency, but I can select this to US dollar since we're in the States here. And everything else for right now is fine. And we can come back and change any of these settings at any point in time. But for right now, I'll leave these alone. And that's pretty much it. So just like it did with Contact Form 7, it created a Forms tab on the side. So you see we have a few more options. We can come back to these settings anytime if you need to change any of that. We can see all of the forms, or right now I can just click Create a Form. So that'll take us to the New Form tab. Let's just call this Contact Us. It's just a simple contact form. And I'll hit Create Form. And just like that, we have our form builder right here. So this is a lot simpler than Contact Form 7. I can click over here on what I want from standard fields, click over here and give it a name. So this field label could be, maybe this is first name, and you can give it a description. You can make it required. So you can see how this is very different than Contact Form 7. It's very much point and click. You can change the appearance. And there's even some advanced tabs that you can work through here as well. So a lot of flexibility and super easy to use. Let's go ahead and take a look at these advanced fields down here. So I just made a name tab, but there's already a name tab here that we could add. I'll click on that. And it gives you a first and last name already without having to set that up. Maybe you want an address in there, and you'll see it adds all of that. Maybe you want a phone number or an email address or a file upload, and you can see how this is super easy to work with. So I'm going to go ahead and hit update. And then from there, what I can do is go to my settings. So I've got these 4 tabs across the top. We have our settings that control how the form behaves. So for example, here's the form basics. What's it called? What's the description? You can change some of the layout options. You can do a lot more down here. What's really important is the confirmations tab. So as soon as somebody submits this, how does it behave? So if I click edit, right now it'll send off this message, and it will actually set up a page, or I'm sorry, a text right in the middle of where the form used to be. So it's just going to pop this up. But you have the option to redirect to a whole different page. So maybe after they submit it, you send them to a whole thank you page that you've created on your website. Or you can redirect right here to an actual URL. So maybe it's a completely site altogether. So it's really nice that this is so flexible. It lets you really dial in exactly how you want it to behave. Then there's notifications. So the way notifications work is once the form is submitted, you want to know that somebody actually filled out the form. So right now, by default, it's going to send a notice to whomever the admin is on the website. You can double check that by coming down here to your settings. So I'm going to hold down the command key and click real quick. And so by doing that, I just opened up a new tab. And right here, we can see that currently the default admin address is this dev-email placeholder that Flywheel put in here. So you'd want to make sure that you have your actual email address here. So whatever's in here is what is going to be sent to this admin notification. All right, so there's a few different settings we can dial in here. These are all really straightforward, so they're simple for you to kind of look through and see what you want to do. And then we have entries. So what's really cool about this is every time somebody submits an entry on your form, those entries are captured in the back end of your site here. So the reason why this is so great is, let's just say that your host has issues or something weird's going on, or maybe your email account is blocking, what quote spam, and maybe it's not spam, right? So anytime you have a question about missing an entry, you can come in here to forms and go down to entries, and you'll see every single entry that's ever happened on that form. That's amazing. It's a super big help, especially when things go wrong. And I've had that happen a lot, where this has actually been a lifesaver to have that contact information. So really handy to have. And then of course we've got our preview button. You click on that and you can see what the form might look like. And then depending on the theme you have, it might look a lot different. It will look a lot different, but at least you can kind of see how this is laid out as far as the form is concerned. Now what I want to do is take a look at how to embed a form. So let's go ahead and jump over to Pages. And I'm going to jump over to our current contact page. It's live on the website, and I'll click Edit. So if we hit Preview real quick, just to remind ourselves what this looks like. This is that contact form that I currently have on the website, and because it's a local host, we don't have this map showing currently, but when we migrate that, this will show up. So what I want to do is try and put that form right here in this open space. So I'm going to close this preview. We'll jump back over to the main page, and I'm going to click on this little plus sign here. And this time I'm going to type Gravity Forms, and you'll notice that when I did this demo with the Contact Form 7, Gravity Forms didn't show up because I didn't have it installed yet, but now that it's installed, it shows up as an element within Visual Composer. So now what I can do is click on this drop-down menu and just choose that Contact Us form I chose. I can choose whether or not to show the title. I can display the form description. And in this case, on both of these, I'm just going to leave it as no. Enable Ajax. To be totally honest, I just leave this alone and let it be how it is. I'll hit Save, and I'll hit Preview Changes. And there's my contact form with all the different input fields that we selected. So you can see how Gravity Forms is really, really easy to work with. Now, if you wanted to add Gravity Forms and you had let's say you didn't have a page builder like Visual Composer, or you're using a different theme and you're not seeing this whole Visual Composer layout, it's really easy to do with shortcodes, just like we did with Contact Form 7. So what I'm going to do is go to Pages. I'm going to open up a new page. I just held down the Command key to click to open this up in a new tab. I didn't want to lose my place over here. And let's make a new page. And when you have Gravity Forms installed and you're using the regular page builder window here that WordPress has, you should see this Add Form button. So I can click on that, and then from there I can select what form I want to add. And it gives me a few options here as well. I can even add some advanced options, which I don't really ever use, but I'll click Insert Form, and now we see a shortcode just like what we saw with Contact Form 7. So you could use this on any page and in any spot, whether it's the footer or a sidebar or widget area or whatever. And if you don't see this, just Google, let's open a new page and let's Google for Gravity Forms shortcode. So you can always go that route too and open up their documentation. Let's scroll down here. And here's that same code that they gave. So I could copy and paste that. So just trying to give you ways to really quickly figure out how to embed this contact form. So I hope that was helpful. And again, Gravity Forms is super easy to work with. Of course, the downside is it's not free, but in the long run, I found that it has some really great options and things that have worked really well. And that's pretty much it, guys. Gravity Forms is really straightforward, and I highly recommend it.